Hi, I'm Justice, and welcome back to Bytes. Today we're going to be talking about the top waiver wire targets for Week 3. Now I know what you're thinking. 2 fantasy football videos in 1 week. How lucky am I? Well, let me tell you. Super, ultra, mega lucky. 6 out of 10. I don't record very often. So, we're going to do the 3 main skill positions of running back, wide receiver, and tight end. First of all, we're going to start with the running back. The first running back we're going to talk about is running back Dion Lewis for the New England Patriots. The reason I picked Lewis is through 2 weeks he has almost 250 yards from scrimmage, i.e. running and passing, as well as a touchdown, and he's available in the majority of leagues still. The second running back you're going to want to target is Carlos Williams, the Buffalo Bills running back. He's currently the backup to LaShawn McCoy, but as of right now, he has almost 100 total yards, as well as 2 touchdowns. He's the ideal vulture. LaShawn McCoy is not known for his power. Carlos Williams is a big back. He's going to steal goal line carries. And Rex Ryan, that front office, have shown a lot of trust in him by cutting who was ahead of him on the depth chart, even though he's a rookie. The third running back we're going to talk about is another rookie running back, and that's rookie running back Matt Jones for the Washington Redskins. He lit it up last week in fantasy football and on the stat sheet. He has a total of 174 yards on the season, as well as 2 touchdowns, and he looks like he could end up splitting carries with Alfred Morris in that Washington backfield. They have a great offensive line. They're a run-first offense with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, and he looks like a great option. And the last running back we're going to talk about is generally a running back more associated with PPR leagues, and that's running back Lance Dunbar. He has 123 total yards on the season, no touchdowns, but a lot of catches. And he's looking like he's the third down back in Dallas. He has the most snap percentage out of any running back in Dallas, and if you're in a PPR league, he's worth getting. Next, we're going to move on to the wide receiver position. We're starting with a bit of a wild card in Rashard Matthews, the wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. The reason he's a bit of a wild card is Ryan Tannehill seemed to have the perfect wide receiver trifecta to throw to in Greg Jennings, Kenny Stills, and Devontae Parker, their first round pick, as well as Jordan Cameron at tight end. The problem is Greg Jennings' age is showing, and it appears that Kenny Stills is not really working out in Miami. Somehow, Rashard Matthews has stepped up for Ryan Tannehill and looked great through 2 games, building a lot of rapport with him. He has 10 catches for 149 yards and a touchdown, and is available in the majority of leagues, because frankly, most people don't know who he is. The next wide receiver we're going to talk about might come as a bit of surprise, and that's wide receiver Michael Crabtree. The reason why is Michael Crabtree is a former first-round pick and was a star in San Francisco for a long time. He had an injury, he got cut, now he's in Oakland, but he's actually doing an incredible job there. He's available in most leagues, and right now he has 12 catches for 148 yards and a touchdown. That's great output through 2 weeks for a wide receiver, especially someone who's still available on the waivers. The next 2 we're going to talk about do come with disclaimers. The first being Travis Benjamin, the wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. The reason why he has a disclaimer is most people see the fact that he has over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they immediately want to pick him up. Now, I'm not saying he can't be productive, but it should be noted that all of those yards and touchdowns have come on 5 catches so far in the season. He is the definition of a boom or bust, feast or famine player. If you look at his track record, he hasn't been productive in his career, and really the majority of his yards and his touchdowns have come on huge deep passes from Johnny Manziel that he did more as a runner than he did as a receiver to make the yards and the score. I'm not saying don't pick him up, but I'm saying be wary with starting him because it is feast or famine. He might go for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. He might go for 10. And my final player I'm going to talk about, a wide receiver, another one with a disclaimer, is New England Patriots wide receiver Aaron Dobson. The reason why I say he comes with a disclaimer is the fact that he had a terrible season last season after a good rookie season, wasn't really there in week 1, and then blew up week 2 against Buffalo. He has 9 catches for 96 yards, most of which came last week. Now the question being, is he a mainstay in the offense, or is it solely because they were playing the Bills? And is he going to be the mainstay as the deep threat, or once Brandon LaFell comes back, is he going to take that spot back? I say Dobson is worth a roster spot in deep leagues, but I would possibly wait to pick him up until we know a little bit more on how New England's going to use him, and if they are. The final position we're going to talk about is the tight end position. We have 3 options, all of which are good tight ends and young tight ends. First of which is tight end Eric Ebron for the Detroit Lions. He's a former first-round pick, took a year to catch up, but he's doing well this year. He has 96 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, good stats for tight end through 2 games, productive, and unlike a lot of tight ends who are still available, it wasn't lopsided. He didn't get all of those yards and all of those touchdowns in 1 week, blew up the other. The second tight end we're going to talk about is Kyle Rudolph for the Minnesota Vikings. The reason I have him here is because he's available in most leagues because he was dropped a lot after week 1. He had one catch for about 30 yards week 1. He looked disappointed. While he only had 30 yards last week, he had a touchdown. He was targeted 7 times and he caught 5 of those catches. Kyle Rudolph has a clear rapport with Teddy Bridgewater. He did great in the preseason, and he looks like a great red zone option. I think he's worth picking up, worth keeping on your roster, and could eventually become a starter once that Minnesota Vikings offense finally clicks. The last player and last tight end we're going to talk about is Crockett Gilmore for the Baltimore Ravens. He didn't do great in week 1, blew up in week 2. He has 111 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. He looks good. The biggest problem is the fact that Baltimore is tight end heavy. They have him. They have second-round pick Max Williams. They have Dennis Pitta when he comes back from injury. But the fact of the matter is, he's healthy, he has experience in the offense, and he looks good. So I think he's the tight end to own in Baltimore right now, and I think he's worth a roster spot if you're looking for a tight end. That's all I've got for you today. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you like our channel, hit the subscribe button. We're hoping to get a lot more content up soon. We appreciate your views. As always, I'm Justice. Thank you for watching Bytes.